Welcome back to tonight's broadcast, A Place for Stories. I'm Sergio Dominguez, and tonight we continue reading my original novel, What Would I Do Without You? If you're new to the story, I encourage you to start with chapter 1 so you can experience Isaac and Aaron's journey from the very beginning. In our last chapter, Chris found the courage to be honest with his father, only to discover that the love he feared losing had been there all along. Watching his friend find acceptance gave Isaac something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. But life has a way of reminding us that every answer leads to another question, and every new beginning comes with challenges of its own. Let's continue the journey. This is What Would I Do Without You, Chapter 12. It was Monday morning, the start of a new week. I arrived at school early in hopes that I would have some time to talk to Aaron. I had called him several times during the weekend, but had no luck getting a hold of him. As I tried to make my way through the crowded hallways, I spotted him ahead of me. Aaron, hey, Aaron, wait up! I yelled to him from across the breezeway. Is he ignoring me? I thought to myself. He seemed to move faster every time I called out his name. I finally caught up to him at his locker. Hey, didn't you hear me? I asked him as he put his books away. I knew something was up with him because he wouldn't even turn to look at me. He was forcefully pushing books into his locker with a somber look on his face. Sorry, I didn't hear you, Aaron answered, still not looking at me. Are you upset? I asked him. Something is definitely bothering him, I thought to myself. What? No. Why would I be upset? Aaron answered. Because you won't even look at me, I replied forcefully as I began to feel annoyed. Slamming his locker door, Aaron made his way over to where there were less of a crowd. As I followed behind him, he turned and asked, What happened to you this weekend? I had to get a ride with James to the juice bar, and then the questions started about why you took off with Chris. Is he like your new best friend or something? He asked. It was obvious to me that Aaron was upset, and it all had to do with Chris. He isn't my new best friend, I answered, upset that he would think I would trade his friendship for Chris. Well, according to the others, I should know your every move, he said almost aggressively. What? What are you talking about? By this time, I was flustered. There were too many factors in the equation. Nothing, forget it. He dismissed me with a wave of his hand as he started to walk away. I have to go or I'll be late. Fine, but I have to tell you something. We need to talk later, I told him as I walked in the opposite direction. I thought we would be able to speak during our lunch hour, but Aaron was nowhere to be found. I was beginning to think he had left school early. I waited out the after-lunch rush in hopes of catching a glimpse of Aaron, but by the time the crowd died down, I was running late for biology. I barely made it through the door when the bell rang. Cutting it short, Mr. Flores, said Miss Hagee. I didn't even reply and instead walked over to where Aaron was and took a seat. Aaron shook his head and gave me an amused smile when I passed by him. Wow, I think his mood changed, I thought to myself. I was really hoping that he and I would have a chance to talk, but my hopes were dashed when I heard Miss Hagee say, Pop quiz. That pop quiz felt more like a pop test. It took most of the class time to finish, then it was followed by a quick lecture. It's okay, we have gym next. We don't do much, and I am sure we will talk, I thought to myself. Wrong again. You have 5 minutes to change, hurry up. Coach barked at us as we entered the gym. This was the day we had to run a mile while the coach timed us. It took me 7 minutes to finish my mile, while Aaron took 10. After running the mile, we still had to do 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, and 50 burpees. Everyone was dead by the time class was over. We all laid on the floor trying to catch our breath. It was horrible. Hey, I was hoping we could talk, I told Aaron as we were gathering our things to leave for the day. All right, he said with a smile on his face. I could tell he wasn't angry anymore because he was finally looking at me. I need to get a book from my locker first, he added. I will meet you at your car, I told him as we exited the gym. And as I stood next to Aaron's car waiting for him to arrive, I thought, he'll be fine once I explain the whole story to him. Listen, I heard Aaron say as he got closer to me. I'm not upset. I was more hurt because we didn't get to hang out this weekend and I didn't hear from you at all. So, what happened over the weekend? He asked me while he tossed his things into his car. Before I tell you, don't you feel like something was different today? I asked him with a grin on my face. He stood there thinking. Actually, now that you mention it, today did feel a little weird, like something is missing, he answered. Did you have to deal with any mean bastards today? I asked with a mischievous smile. Aaron smiled with a look of realization. Oh, wow, you're right. I didn't see Roger all day. His eyes lit up. Well, that was what I was wanting to tell you. I don't think you will be seeing him around here anymore. He was caught stealing and breaking into cars last week. He's going to a reform school until he graduates. That's if he graduates. And with the king of assholes gone, I doubt the other two will bother you. I said, feeling relieved we would no longer have to deal with Roger and his group. Who told you? Chris? He asked as he stepped closer to me. What happened this past weekend? I rested my weight on the side of the car as I exhaled. Chris's mom died Friday. That is why he was in my car. We were rushing to the hospital. The doctors were keeping her alive so he could say his last goodbye. Damn, that is horrible. How is he? Aaron asked with sincere concern on his face. That's the other thing I wanted to tell you. I spent the weekend with him. I couldn't leave him alone because he wasn't doing too well. After we left the hospital, Chris asked me to stay the night. I couldn't say no. He was so sad. I was very worried about how this was going to go over with Aaron. You spent the night at Chris's? Aaron asked. His demeanor changed a little. Mm-hmm. I called you Saturday to tell you, but I didn't get an answer. I was going to call you again once I got to Chris's house, but we got to talking and I was trying to keep him distracted. Before I knew it, the day was over and we were in bed. I forced myself to look him in the eye. Wait, so you two shared a bed? Aaron asked. I discerned Aaron's irritation, which made me very confused. I tried to explain about Chris not wanting to be alone, but the more I talked, the more I sensed he was bothered with the whole weekend. However, nothing could have prepared me for when I told him what happened the night Chris's mother died. I only remember saying, and that is when he kissed me. I could see Aaron's body tense up so much that even the look on his face changed. What is happening right now? I thought to myself. Isaac, wait, what? Chris kissed you? On the lips? Aaron's voice was forceful by now. I have to go, was all he said as he got into his car. Wait, but I'm not done talking to you, I said as I walked over to the side of his car. Why don't you go and find Chris? I'm sure his lips have a lot to tell you, Aaron said as he shut the door. I stood in the parking lot in disbelief as Aaron drove off. I stood there, watching Aaron's car disappear from the parking lot. There were still so many things I hadn't told him, so many things I wanted him to understand, but none of it mattered anymore, because all he had heard was the one sentence that hurt him the most. Chris kissed me. The silence that followed felt heavier than anything I had ever carried before. I kept asking myself the same question. Could I have explained it differently? Should I have started somewhere else? Should I have told him sooner? Or had I already lost him? For the first time since Aaron and I had become friends, I didn't know what tomorrow would bring. And that frightened me more than I wanted to admit. We'll continue Isaac's story in chapter 13. Thank you for listening to What Would I Do Without You? If you're enjoying Isaac and Aaron's journey, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with someone who enjoys heartfelt coming-of-age fiction. I'm Sergio Dominguez, and this has been tonight's broadcast, A Place for Stories. Until next time, take care.